So today I'm going to be talking about 3 top reasons why having a freelance website can be a total game changer for your business. Now I'm saying business because I just believe that when you're a freelancer and you're going to be managing the ins and outs, it's particularly a business. So even if you are thinking of transitioning from freelancing, just trying freelancing for a while, and then later you're like, oh, I'm going to start applying for remote work opportunities, this is still useful because your site can still be useful, especially when you're applying to jobs and where they ask you for your LinkedIn profile. Sometimes you see on some job application pages, they will ask you, okay, any other additional website or something else that they can check you out on. Giving your website there as like an additional ground is like giving a sneak peek into who you are. You're just giving them a sneak peek into who you are. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get into why I encourage every freelancer to have a website. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Blessing. This is the Creative Being Woman channel, and what we do here is we provide actionable strategies, tips for work from home moms and incredible women like yourself. If you're a guy, I don't join, I see you. Feel free, stay for a while and enjoy the ride with us. So let's get into the 3 top reasons why I encourage every freelancer to have a website. Number 1, establishing credibility, and it also helps you to build trust. So having a website, like if you watch my previous video, I said that having a portfolio site is like having like a digital business card, whereby when you hand out a business card, for a business card, it summarizes, okay, maybe gives details about your name, where you work, or the name of your business, how to contact you, and then just a one-liner or tagline of what you do. But having a website is going to like give more ground for you to give more narrative about who you are, the services you offer, and why someone should work with you. So it signals professionalism, to be very honest, whereby just imagine that you want to hire someone, maybe like a graphic designer to work for you. So and then you ask for referrals, or you check out different graphic designers, and then you come across one that sends you his portfolio site, and where you can see samples of his work. You can learn a little bit about him. He has like an about page. You can see testimonials of people that have worked with him before, maybe logos of brands he has worked with. You can easily, within that same platform, when you have learned about him, learned about his services, what he can do for you, you can easily just reach out and say, okay, I'm interested, how can I reach out? Everything just happens within one space. So compare that to when maybe you're looking for a graphic designer, you come across one and you have to be the one to ask, show me samples of the work you have done. They send you samples. Okay, who are the people you have worked with, or anybody that I can see that you did work for in real life. They will not have to send that to you, and they're like, oh, okay, so what other services do you offer? So sometimes that back and forth can simplify it and make it professional, make it seamless by having a website that just talks about everything that you do in clear detail. The other thing that it also does for you is in building trust. The fact that you can get people to just see that you have a website. Yes, I know that there are fake websites these days that steal information and everything, but it just gives like that extra step whereby it's easier to build trust, because at that way you are showing the talk. You're not just talking the talk and just say, oh, I can do this for you, promises and all of that. So it makes it easier for you to be able to at least take your trust building a little bit up a notch through being professional. Like when someone does something professionally, you are able to trust that they, to some level, know what they are doing, know what they are saying. Okay, it's just like maybe you want to hire 2 people for hire for a particular role, and then you have to pick between 2 people, and then one is professional in his approach, is professional in how he is able to deliver on telling you, okay, work with me, this is what you get, this is what I do, and the other isn't so professional, it's so nonchalant or lackadaisical or less professional in his approach. Even if the other person is so good that the one that is not so professional is so good at what he does, chances are You might, that is even if you get to find out that the other one that is also professional is good at what it does. Chances are you will go with the more professional looking one. So that's what I mean by trust building. The next thing is also control over narrative. You are able, instead of like just being on a party platform, they have their place just on social media, and of course social media still has its place. You have control over your narrative, over the things that you want your clients to see right off the bat. So maybe instead of social media for them to keep searching, yes, you might see something in your bio and all of that, but before you say, okay, let me search for this, let me search for that, like, you can control everything you want clients to see, control how they contact you, control the samples that they get to see, control what they learn about you. Maybe there's a particular part of yourself you're like, okay, I need people to know that I deliver on this. You're able to do that. And it's also like flexibility over what you can put on your website. You can decide to have a section that you put in videos, just beside having images. Put in a video, maybe that video you're giving an introduction into who you are, or you can take it up a notch, and then maybe in your portfolio section you even have like a short video that explains, instead of having text talking about, okay, what was the purpose of this project, what was the client need, what were the results. You can even also have like a video section that just talks a bit more, gives like that, so that gives that strategic view on what you are talking about. So that just gives like that extra oomph. I know you can argue and say, I can do that on social media too, but when you're on a platform that you are the mercy, for me to use the word mercy, at the mercy of the algorithm, you can't dictate what is being shown to who, and you can't dictate how many clients will have the time to go through all your social media feed before they're able to get to what they're really looking for. But on your website, you can easily do that by controlling what you want them to see, the important things that clients need to see for them to be able to choose you for a particular role or gig. So the second reason why I also advise freelancers to have a website is that it just gives you a very good ground for you to just showcase your best work, to be honest. The work you're proud of. You know, in earlier videos, you would see where I spoke about the fact that when you are setting up your portfolio site, make sure that you are updating it. You are adding your, most current samples that you're proud of, that reflects your current journey. And that's like really the beauty, like you can actually make your website evolve with you and reflect where you are in your professional journey. So maybe when you first started out, there were some skills that you're not so great at, and so maybe the samples you have on your portfolio site weren't so great, but then 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, you've gotten so good. Now you have the option to actually ensure you update your website to reflect where you are in your journey. So whoever lands on your website is seeing your current version of you at that time, and in real, maybe not almost real time, but almost in real time of the where you are in your journey. Which is why it's important that you don't just set up your portfolio site and leave it. And like I said, this is another reminder to myself to go and update my portfolio site. But you don't just set it up and leave it. You ensure that you keep it updated. You have like quarterly or yearly or every 6-month plan to say, okay, let me replace some of the samples there. Maybe my service offerings have gotten wider or broader. Let me ensure that I include the current services I am offering. Maybe there's some particular services you're not offering again. I make sure that I take that out. So that's why I say that it gives you a ground to have like a narrative that grows with you, and when you are not there to do the talking, your website can do the talking for you. Then another reason is besides being a good conversation starter, it also helps in facilitating great communication with clients. And by that I mean, it helps you to just really position yourself as how you want to be seen. Like, the popular saying that dress the way you want to be addressed. So having a website, a good thought out website, just really is like that, you presenting yourself the way you want to be received. That's how simple I can be. So if you want to be received as a professional, you want to be received as someone who is not just trying their hands on things and just seeing which one clicks, then your website has to reflect that same thing. And having a website is one part, is important, it's half of the battle. You also have to ensure that your website is doing a great job in presenting you the way you should be presented. And I would advise that you watch my previous video. I would try to link it down in the description box where I talk about the key things your portfolio website should have. So those things are things that you have to keep in mind. I'm not saying it should be like one elaborate website design, but things that just clearly tell the client about what you do. So for example, you're a social media manager or you're a virtual assistant, because I know you might be thinking, do I really need a website if I'm not a graphic designer? Because I feel it should only be for maybe creatives that can show samples of their work, like graphic design. They can show websites they have developed, or they can show content pieces they have written. Even if you're someone that what you do is more of a service than it's still a service, but what you do is more of a service such a way that I can't really show samples of my work. Like a virtual assistant, I can't start saying, okay, so this is how I did this for this particular client, especially if the client wants to be kept confidential. You still can have a website, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's just like having a digital living website that reflects your current journey out there. So as a virtual assistant, maybe you focus on clients that are course creators or solopreneurs, and that is what you do. So on your website, you want to communicate who you serve. That's one. You also want to communicate the kind of services that you offer. So as a virtual assistant, what type of virtual assistant are you? Because it's broad, yeah. Is it that you provide virtual assistants in social media management, or you provide virtual assistants in data analysis? So whatever it is, you want to ensure that your website communicates it. The services that you offer, it communicates it. Talking about rates, should you put rates on your website? I think it depends, to be honest. Although I would say, because except if it's something that it's fixed, like maybe you already know that for a particular project it's going to take you 1 hour, and you're like, okay, this is going to take 1 hour, this is going to take 1 day, this is the same process and all of that, so this is the cost. But most times I'm like, that's like one of the, it shouldn't be like a big factor of you stressing yourself that should I just put my services out, my service rates out there. Because sometimes you can get on a gig and you discover that, oh, maybe it's not so much of a lot, so yes, I can keep it within a particular price range. And then you get another gig and you think it's the same thing, and then this one actually takes more time to complete, requires more energy, requires more more of your brain power to complete. And then because you already have a fixed rate on your website, you can't now wake up and say, oh, so this one is a little different, that's different. But like I say, it depends on what works for you, to be honest. So just imagine a situation whereby a prospect can get to learn about you in one place, get to learn about what you do, the services you have to offer in one place, get to learn about how they can easily contact you, know what, like you tell them what to do, and they can just do that in one place without you talking too much. Because even if you list your services maybe on social media and all that, you might still get some people still asking you some questions. So the questions that they probably might want to come into your DM or into your email to ask you, if you have already answered that on your website, it just makes it easy. Like, okay, you can check on my website. So if anyone is reaching out to you again to ask you questions after going to your website, it's one of two things. It's either you didn't do a great job of already being explicit and being very thorough with that on your website, or two, they have a need that is a little different from what is on your website, and then they want to just talk to you and ask you, or maybe they just still want to talk to you before they move on. But many of the times it's better that they are reaching out to you because either they want to hire you, or they want to, like, okay, I'm interested but I just need to have a phone conversation with you, than when they are still asking you questions, and those questions are questions that you should have answered on your website. Okay, so those are my 3 reasons why you will see me always encourage people, like freelancers, to have a website. And even if you're like, yes, I'm just trying out freelancing for a while, later on I might decide to take up a remote career or go back to the office, I still encourage you that shouldn't stop you from having a freelance website. It can still come in handy, especially you're applying to a job, and after dropping your LinkedIn profile, sometimes they can ask, oh, any additional links you have to share. That additional link, take advantage of it. Or maybe when you're sending like an email to prospect for a job, and then you just at the end or something, maybe after your name, you just put in the link to your portfolio site or the link to your website. So yeah, doesn't hurt to have one, does it? Okay, so I hope you learned a lot from this video, and let me know, do you have a website, portfolio site already? If you do, tell me. Not encourage you to have one. If you don't, tell me why haven't you considered having one yet in the comments. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.